we continue with the tutorials. Yesterday we ended with taxiing, so now we will do the takeoff. Alright. Looks very nice. Let's go. Loading.
There's an old saying I like. A mile of road will take you a mile. A mile of runway will take you anywhere. Taking off isn't hard, but there are a few key points to remember. First, we always take off into the wind, which won't be an issue on a calm day like today. Second, before we enter a runway, we always make sure it's clear. Check to the right to see if a vehicle is on the runway, and to the left to make sure no other planes are approaching. Runway numbers are not arbitrary. Each number matches the first two number of the runway's compass bearing, rounded to the nearest 10 degrees. For example, a runway orientated towards the north would be numbered 36, which is 360 degrees on a compass. Everything looks good, no cross traffic. Go ahead and taxi into position. Now slowly taxi onto the runway and align the plane with the center line. Then stop your plane just after the number 21. Let's position the plane for takeoff.
A bit more. Here we go. Oh, too fast.
Not bad. All right, let's do this. Apply full power, and I'll walk you through the takeoff as we go.
Oh. In photo mode all of a sudden.
Go full throttle.
This is what I wanted.
Go full throttle.
Yeah.
Use your rudder to stay on the center line, and keep pushing power until you reach 55 knots.
55 knots. This one.
Good. Now gently pull back on the yoke. And we're airborne.
Oh shoot, what's happening?
Line up the top of your instrument panel so it's a couple of inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. Make Maintain 75 knots, and we'll reach our target altitude of 5,500 feet in no time. Focus on flying straight. Use your rudders to remove the left yaw or plane as when climbing. You can see your current yaw input by looking at the MFD slip skid indicator.
Don't sink, don't sink, don't sink. Stall. Stall.
Ah,
Stall.
something is going totally.
Maintain 75 knots and climb to 5,500 feet.
Stall. Stall.
Oh god. Why is it like this?
Stall. 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 Stall.
I don't think I will get a very good score.
Stall. 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 500. Stall. Stall. Stall.
I don't know what's going on.
Stall.
Ugh. Alright. Why is it going to the left all the time?
Maintain 75 knots and climb to 5,500 feet.
Yeah. Somehow those things were broken. I
Alright,
don't know.
let's do this. Apply full power, and I'll walk you through the takeoff as we go.
It was horrible.
Use your rudder to stay on the center line, and keep pushing power until you reach 55 knots.
It better start at least.
Good. Now gently pull back on the yoke. And we're airborne.
Much better.
Line at the top of your instrument panel, so it's a couple of inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. Maintain 75 knots, and we'll reach our target altitude of 5,500 feet in no time. Focus on flying straight. Use your rudders to remove the left yaw or plane as when climbing. You can see your current yaw input by looking at the MFD slip skid indicator.
The what? Slip skid indicator?
Maintain 75. Okay, 5,500 feet. You've reached your target altitude. That was a nice takeoff.
They were so much better than the first attempt. I don't know, the brakes or something, they were stuck. Not sure what that was all about, but ooh, a very good score. I like that. Very good. Next one. In this landing tutorial, we'll focus on using the yoke. There will be no need to actuate your throttle or flaps in this gun. Okay.
For this landing exercise, I want you to focus on the yoke only. We're close enough to the runway to land safely without adding any throttle. Maintain a speed of around 65 knots. Pitch down if you're going too slow. Pitch up if you're too fast. Keep your airspeed at 65 knots. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare.
There.
To flare means to raise the nose of the aircraft to slow your descent for a softer landing, but without ever leveling off or climbing. The main landing gear will touch down before the nose wheel does.
So 30 FPS. Is, I'm happy with it.
500.
We're coming up on flare height. Resist the temptation to pull back. Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it. Nice. Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Use rudder pedals to stay on the center line. Well done, but there's room for improvement. Keep in mind that approaching the runway at the right speed is key to a good landing.
Another one done. Here's the score. Okay, I'm happy with this.
In the first part of this landing exercise, I want you to stay on the glide path by using the throttle. You can make small corrections with the yoke to stay aligned with the runway. Smooth action on the throttle is key for remaining on the correct glide path. If you find yourself too high, reduce your power. If you're too low, increase it. Remember though, always make soft corrections. You don't want to overcompensate. Now you can use the elevator to land.
Achoo.
500.
I'm aligned with that runway.
Reduce throttle to idle. Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it.
Where did it ended?
Nice. Now, apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. That was excellent.
Excellent. All right. get the score then. Nice. Design says you will focus on the key techniques for successful landings. Manage speed, grab on the final approach. Grab the touchdown smoothly, break upper landings, and I just did this.
My first instructor used to say, the best part of flying is landing in one piece. Today, you're in charge of bringing us in for a safe landing. And I've already set us up in landing configuration at 65 knots with 20 degrees of flaps. Keep your aim point on the runway threshold. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare.
Line with the runway. Come on, it doesn't go down. At least I'm aligned. Go down.
Reduce throttle to idle. Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it.
It's the same as before,
Nice.
just a longer...
Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Use rudder pedals to stay on the center line. You did well, but you can do better.
I don't know, it's
Keep
really...
in mind that approaching the runway at the right speed is key to a good landing.
Good enough. This training session covers the procedures to be performed while flying in a traffic pattern. Okay.
Okay, we're currently flying on the downwind leg at the standard traffic pattern altitude of 6,000 feet. It's a flight path parallel to the landing runway, but in the opposite direction. In downwind, you want to start preparing for landing. That means setting your speed and flaps configuration. We are passing the end of the runway, so go ahead and reduce RPM to 1700. It will help you to slow you down to 80 knots and begin your descent. The flaps provide extra lift at the expense of additional drag. This extra lift allows flying at a lower airspeed. Flaps allow for smoother and shorter landings. Go ahead and extend 10 degrees of flaps, all while maintaining current speed. We will turn to the base leg when the end of the runway is at a 45-degree angle behind us. Turn left onto the base leg. Try to keep our speed around 75 knots. Keep an eye on the runway as we get ready for our final turn. Turn left onto final.
Where is it? Oops.
Keep a stabilized approach with 65 knots airspeed and prepare
Not
for
totally
landing.
correct. Get some
Use
more
throttle and flaps as required to adjust the glide slope.
Not really how it should be, but good enough for now. Whoosh.
Apply the brakes and stop the plane.
The brakes don't work. Now they work. That was messy.
You followed the traffic pattern well. Good job.
Good job. That was horrible. Just reach B. Just pass it. That's good. Alright, the chick is gone.
It's time. Your first solo flight. I'll be watching from the ground, in radio contact if you need me, but something tells me you won't. Your goal is to complete Sedona's left-hand traffic pattern on your own. Remember everything we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine. Good luck. See you on the other side.
Other side of what? Oh yeah, to fly all around. It's 6,000, okay? To climb. Okay, 18 knots. going too fast. Maybe quick. Oops.
500. Stall.
That is rough. This is gonna be so messy. Super messy.
I think a bit more practice may be a good idea. You're on your way to becoming one hell of a pilot.
I'm not too bothered about these AI voices. I suppose this is the AI voice. If not, then I don't know. Maybe I should try their career and see how the AI voices are. This one is fine for sure. Yeah, pretty bad the score, but doesn't matter. I finished this one. 48. Learn about visual. Oh yeah, this is interesting. Let's see. So what she has to say about this.
Today we're going to leave our familiar airport of Sedona and venture south to reach Flagstaff Airport. To guide us, we will rely on the navlog. It references the different legs to complete to reach our final destination. Our first goal is to fly over the runway center at 6,500 feet with a heading of 42 degrees. By doing so, we will be perfectly set up to engage with the first leg of the navlog. After takeoff, we will continue crosswind as if we were following the standard traffic pattern. However, we won't turn downwind. Instead, we will continue climbing to 6,500 feet before turning on course toward the runway center. Okay, you can take off whenever you are ready.
Alright. Let's go.
Nice command during takeoff. Your target altitude is 6,500 feet. That's 500 feet above the traffic pattern, as we don't want to interfere with incoming aircraft. Maintain 75 knots. Maintain 75 knots. Maintain 75 knots.
I don't know, man. This thing
As
used
you
to.
climb, turn left so you stay in the vicinity of the airport.
to
Maintain 75 knots. You'll want to stay closer to the airfield. Maintain 75 knots.
I don't get the knots. Why do I have to maintain a certain number?
You need to stay in the pattern for the sake of this exercise. Maintain 75 knots. Maintain 75 knots. Maintain 75 knots. need to do this more quickly. To ensure accurate navigation, you want an accurate starting point. And what's more accurate than the runway you just departed from? Go ahead and position your plane above the airport.
Above runway center, okay.
Nice. That's it for navigation departure. Well done.
Hopefully complicated, it seems. Maybe I'm missing something, but did I finish it? 100%. Nice.
We're currently at 6,500 feet, about 30 seconds flight time to Sedona Airport. As we make our way toward the runway center, let's talk more about navigation. When you need to set and maintain a heading, you'll want to rely on your heading indicator. Compasses are prone to errors, especially during turns, or while accelerating or decelerating. Okay, we're in position over the runway center. Next step is to validate the time. That's a fancy way of saying, start your stopwatch. On the nav log, you can see our next waypoint, Munns Park, is at a 42-degree heading, about 5 minutes away. That means we need to be on a 42-degree heading. Check your heading indicator and make your turn. Good. Maintain a 42-degree heading. As you approach Munns Park, the terrain level rises. To maintain a safe altitude, we'd better climb to 8,000 feet. Make sure you keep the same heading. Maintain full power during your climb. Navigation is basically flying a given heading for a given amount of time. Sometimes you deviate. But if you track the time flown from your last known position, you'll always have at least a range for your current position.
Stall.
Just it.
Stall. Stall.
Okay, now get back to cruise attitude. Let the speed increase, then set cruise power at 2,300 RPM. Do you see the green patch with a lake on its right? This is Munns Park Golf Club. We're almost there. Let's proceed over it and check if the stopwatch matches the navlog estimation. We all know speed can increase or decrease depending on the wind. That's why at your next waypoint you'll want to compare your estimated time and route with the actual time flown. Validate your estimate and your progress. Well done. But there's room for improvement. Navigation to Munns Park is in the books. Alright, we're currently at 8,000 feet, approximately 30 seconds out from Munns Park Golf Club. While we fly over it, let's talk about landmark navigation. One of the easier methods of navigation involves following identifiable landmarks, like highways. And it just so happens we have one below us. Do you see the highway on your left? That highway leads all the way to Flagstaff. Let's follow it, and we should reach Flagstaff Airport in 6 to 7 minutes. To make sure we don't miss it, reset your stopwatch here and start again.
Yeah, always.
Flagstaff Airport's altitude is around 7,000 feet. Unlike in Sedona, the traffic pattern altitude there is standard. This means its altitude is 1,000 feet above the airport, which works out to 8,000 feet. We need to fly over the airport before entering the traffic pattern. Since we don't want to interfere with other aircraft already in the traffic pattern, let's fly at least 500 feet above pattern altitude. So, let's climb to 8,500 feet on the way.
Okay.
Keep it at full power while you're climbing.
Can I look at the road and do that? I cannot follow the road if I have to keep an eye on these numbers.
Perfect. Maintain 8,500 feet until we reach the airport.
Stall.
Set RPM at 2,300.
The airport, right?
There it is, Flagstaff Airport, on the right side of the highway. Excellent landmark navigation.
At least look at numbers. This game always makes me a bit sleepy. In a positive way. 100%. And last one then.
Flagstaff Airport is right in front of us, and we're currently at 8,500 feet. That's 500 feet above the standard traffic pattern. It's a good altitude to avoid interfering with aircraft already in the pattern. Proceed above the terrain, making sure you maintain our current altitude.
Be higher.
As we pass over the runway again, start descending to 8,000 feet, still maintaining 80 knots. You'll enter the pattern in the middle of the downwind leg for runway 21. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . We've got clearance to enter the downwind leg and land on runway 21. Keep your attitude, then follow the standard pattern. Extend 10 degrees of flaps. Complete the traffic pattern until landing as you learned previously.
Nice and stable, I like it. Yeah, knots is basically just the speed. Come. Oh shit.
Stall.
Sloppy. Alright, it could have been worse though, but far from perfect.
Good integration, but something tells me you can do even better.
Yeah. Nice, another one done. This should be okay. Let's see then.
Are you ready for this? You are going solo on a full VFR flight. From takeoff to touchdown, it's all you. You'll be departing Flagstaff Pulliam Airport, handling every navigational step on your way to Sedona. It's the return trip from your previous lessons. You'll be flying over the same landmarks. You remember them? The highway, Munns Park Golf Club. Choose whatever you're confident with. Dead reckoning, landmark navigation, or both. This is what you've trained for. Just remember everything you've learned, and most of all, enjoy the ride.
Okay. No. No. I know, that's weird. Wrong button. No. Like this. Oh, these 8500 is so annoying.
Stall. 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 Stall.
Guess I have to do this. Set cruise attitude. What is a cruise attitude? weer terug naar dat ding. Wat is het nou? Hi. Dat is zo goed. Should be there almost. Nice location. Just let's to add how many degrees to 2. It's nice and interesting to discover a little bit about how all of this airplane stuff works. Let's see. Where is the airport? Yeah, in front of us, huh? There's room for error, that's good. Because it is 8,500 feet, I find it pretty annoying. So I'm only looking at the numbers. I just wanna look outside. It's a pretty beautiful view. Speed to 18 knots. Not paying attention. A bit higher and then turn around. Climb up. have to go lower. This is gonna be a rough one. Very, very rough.
500.
I hope I have enough for landing.
You weren't really supposed to land there.
Huh? On the wrong side? $65, still climbing. This seems to be alright. Extra speed would be good, I think. Knots. A bit more, I think, because I'm lower. Okay, landing, and then this is done.
500.
Seems to be going better than before. What are those cows?
I think a bit more practice may be a good idea. Some people say the sky's the limit. I say, it's just the beginning.
Alright, wisdom. Guys, another time I will continue the other tutorials. I don't wanna do this again. Yeah, okay. Chapter 5. Good enough. Alright, I will turn off the recording.